Alright, so we left off here where we're going to split JO and HIMN on this part of the tree. So what distinguishes this whole group here? That's going to be traits 16 and 19. So we need to put that on this part of the tree. So we'll do that now. 16 and 19. Okay, and I'm just going to shrink this so we have a bit more room. Alright, so now we have groups J and O are going to branch off this way, and groups H, I, M, and N are going to branch off this way. Actually, let's do it the other way because it'll have more room. Okay, so J and O is going to go over here. We know that it's going to diverge, so we can do 2 branches automatically. And Dr. Jensen, I'm sure, will not give you a 3-way branch. That does happen, but that's usually when we don't know a lot, and she wouldn't expect you to do that. I'm 99% sure. So, J and O split off here. It is defined by traits 3 and 17, so we need to put that on our tree here. 3 and 17. Running out of room here. Alright, see that? 3 and 17 are on that branch. And this is our J and O. And we don't know what distinguishes J and O, but that must be on this side of our chart. Okay, so now we need to work on the H, I, M, and N group. We know that N is going to split off immediately because H, I, and M are in a more closely related group than N is. So you see how we can split these into 2 different groups? Because they're all in one group, but we see one is not as closely related as these 3. So we can automatically know we are going to split those off. So we can draw a split here, right there. And we need to distinguish H, I, M, and N from J and O group. And those characters are 9 and 15. So we'll put that along here. Okay, and then, so this is the H, I, M, and N group. But now we need to split H, I, and M and N. So let's put H, I, and M on this side. We know it's going to split into 2. I'm going to erase this KL because we don't really need it anymore. Okay, so this is going to be our H, I, and M, and the characters that define H, I, and M are 9 and 15. Let's see. Oh, nope, sorry, it's not 9 and 15. It's 2, 6, and 12. See that little mark there? So we'll put 2, 6, and 12 on this part. Make sure you give a little notch for each trait. And then we can split up H, I, and M. And looking back at our dichotomous key, I'm thinking we missed something. Yes, so we missed trait 7. Trait 7 actually distinguishes I and M, so we can make that an even smaller group. So trait 7 distinguishes I and M, so we can put a little bracket here around I and M and have that say trait 7. See how we did that? And that's just my error. I missed that trait 7 there. So now we can split H from I and M. So we're going to have our H go this direction all the way to the end. And we'll fill in the characters that distinguish him there. And then we're going to have our I and M go this direction. So what distinguishes I and M from H? Well, that's going to be trait 7 because it is part of this little group. H doesn't have it, but I and M do have it. So we're going to put it on this part of the tree. We're going to have 7 here. Trait 7. And then for M and I, we'll come back to this list to see what distinguishes them. So going back down here, we split off our H, I, and our M from our N. So we need to finish drawing our N all the way to the end. And there's our N. And the key to drawing phylogenetic trees is to have all the species end at the same place. I know mine is a little skittywampus here, but you want them to be all on the same line. If one went extinct, then you could put it shorter, but otherwise you're going to want them all the same. And that's because they have all evolved the same length of time, even though they might have different characteristics, or more or less characteristics than each other. Okay, so now we can go through and fill out all these little single pieces here. So I is distinguished by trait 1. We can put 1 right there. Cross that off. O is distinguished by trait 4. We can put 4 right there. Cross that off. H is with 8. M is with 13. IN is with 14. All right, so looking back at our tree, do we think that I and N does this work? Well, kind of. I mean, they do share a common ancestor, but it's all the way back here. So either we got the trait here, and then H and M lost it, or I and N just evolved a new trait. And we're just going to do the most, really you could do either way, but for the sake of this assignment, and any assignment that Dr. Jensen gives you, we're going to assume that this thing that looks a little funky, we're going to assume that's an analogous trait. So we're going to put it on both I and N. So on I's, we're going to put trait 14. See that little 14 I drew there? So it's distinguished by 14 and 1. And N is also distinguished by trait 14. Okay, so we'll cross that off. J is with 22. L is with 23. And K is with 25. All right, so that's what your tree should look like. If you have any questions, please email me. And I'll be grading according to this tree, so if I messed up, then we all messed up. But this is definitely right. This is in the key. So feel free to watch this if you want to review for your exam. I'm not sure if she's going to put this kind of a thing on your exam. I know we definitely won't have it for the quiz, so don't be worried about that. But do look over that phylogenetic study guide I sent out with this video. I think that'll be super helpful when you practice interpreting and drawing trees. You guys are great. Have a good weekend.